Good morning, everybody. This is Judith A. Cope. You're listening to Mad Love. Let's get into it. So, yeah, it's crazy. We're already, at the end virtually of the month. So, and what that leaves us about 6 weeks in 2025. What a year. It's gone quickly, thankfully, but it was a toughie. I had a tough year. There were a lot of ups and downs, a lot of wins, a lot of losses. This was a really interesting year for me in terms of like physically just knowing I couldn't do something anymore. Like I had to change everything. And while it hasn't been the easiest thing in the world, it was definitely necessary because I'm telling you, I had people lie to my face, renege on deals, you know, sold a lot of wolf tickets. And, you know, no one thought enough of me to come to my face and say, hey, I'm sorry. I thought I could do X, Y, and Z. I couldn't do it, and I'm sorry. Like, I've been watching LA Law, and one thing that stands out to me is we don't have very many Leland McKenzies in the world. And what I mean by that is the emotionally mature leader that dishes out the tough talk, but also, talks to you, listens to you, engages with you, tries to make you understand why they made the decision they made, leads the firm during tough times. And I know he's a fictional character, but he was representative of that time. He was an elder in his own firm at that time on that show. And that show's what, 35, 36 years old or something crazy. Um, but think about it. Those people that age are gone. They certainly aren't working. And they're not alive anymore. So, uh, but what he brought to his own firm and to his staff and his team was wisdom and emotional intelligence. Look around. How many people are leading offices that don't have any of that? They're not emotionally intelligent. They're not particularly wise. They just think they know what they're doing, or they make assumptions about what they think they know, and they wanted the title and they wanted the money. And it's like, yeah, but leaders used to be have leadership skills. And I think it's the quiet crisis that no one is talking about. And it's like I can't work for people that I don't think are not only not as smart as I am, because everybody's smart in different ways. You may have degrees, I don't have degrees in, but I know what I know. But I'm also incredibly emotionally intelligent, and I'm a grown up. And a lot of times I'm the only grown up in a room. I get that. And I'm not saying I'm special. I'm just saying people act like I don't think they're acting. I think people are just completely immature and self absorbed and selfish. And those aren't leadership qualities. They're not. If someone is talking bad about you as a leader, you can't just keep saying, well, I can't make everybody happy. That is absolutely true. You will never make everybody happy. But you can make everybody feel seen and heard and manage their expectations. And you know how you do that? By saying the things that nobody wants to say, by saying the hard thing and risking being unpopular, but knowing that you told the truth. And if they can't live with that, then maybe they should just move on. But you can see it in politics, you can see it in offices, all kinds of businesses. There are a lot of people with zero emotional intelligence, zero people skills, and they are in charge. And it is fucking terrifying. So, in a world where we could use some Leland McKenzies, I really hope they show up again because it's important. It's important to have people who understand not only how to talk to you, but when to talk to you and what to say. And there are times when you have to fall on your sword and just admit you were wrong. And I hope within the next year or so that we can just move into better leadership, not only in politics, but just in our households, in our families. Make the tough decisions, say the tough thing, but do it with love and compassion. And stop pretending like shit's not happening. Oh, if I don't address it, then it's not a problem. If I hear another person wondering if they're racist or not, that's another thing. They use the hard N word. They call people retarded nonstop. I mean, 1990 television was no joke. But it was well written. And more than that, I think it was well intentioned. Now, I think I'm going to be done with season 5. I can't imagine watching the show. I remember not liking all the new cast members. And it was on while I was in college. So I watched it, I think, probably through college. Um, but even after I graduated, I probably stuck with it. But I can't imagine watching without Michael Cusack and Victor Cifuentes. And they're the heart and soul of the show. And it was a great show. It really was. Now that I've worked with prosecutors, I understand who Grace Van Owen is. And I just can't stand defense attorneys, but I do enjoy watching the show. And I would love to be a part of a revival of the show, but like a remaking of it. I don't want to bring back anybody that's still alive, possibly. Um, just re-envision the show for a modern time. Um, I would love to do that. I don't know when I'll have time to do that. It's not on my list of projects, but if somebody wants to pay me, it can move right up to the top. But anyway, wishing you some joy, some peace, some love, some compassion, some healing on this very day. And if you know of a situation that could use a Leland McKenzie, someone who's wise and emotionally intelligent, uh, focus on that. Just be like, hey, God, can you send us a good leader? Can you send us a Leland McKenzie? Because I'm telling you, I listen every day to people I know and people I don't know complain about their bosses. And I think it's because the bosses aren't grown-ups anymore. One thing about my mom, I loved her very much, but she was not very emotionally intelligent. And I didn't realize that was the problem. I didn't realize that when she was shutting down on me or not listening to me or whatever, that she was reacting like a child. Because when you're a child, you don't get it. But, when I was in my 40s, and I was like, oh, she's a child emotionally. And it really helped me. And I know I throw my mom's name out there a lot, and I'm not trying to insult her. I loved her very much. I respected my mom. But I also knew her flaws, and she could shut down on you emotionally. She just wasn't going to engage. And, you know, I think when you can look at someone and you can see, like, okay, this person, that's part of being a good communicator, which I think is the number one skill you need to be a good leader. You want to lead people and you want the salaries and you want the titles, but you think people just respect you because you're their boss? I can think of somebody right now who was the boss and people smiled and grinned in his face, but it was only because he was their boss. Like, nobody hardly respected him. And it's like, okay, read the room, motherfucker. Read the room. Anyway, again, I wish you love. I wish you peace. I know I curse, but it's to make a point. It really bothers me. And I want us to be great. And the only way we get great is if we recognize good leadership, and where it's lacking, we try to reinforce that we need it, because we need it at every level. And it starts in our households. And it'd be nice if the parents were grown ups again. Have a great weekend.